There are souls that never truly belong to this world, even while they are living in it. You are one of them. It is no coincidence that you are hearing these words deep within you. For as long as you can remember, there has always been a faint feeling, as if you are walking between two realities. Life goes on around you. People laugh, work, love. Yet somewhere deeper, you feel as though you are drifting in another frequency. A thin veil separates two worlds, one of physical life and one of something you cannot quite name. And then, in sleepless nights, sometimes you sense a soft light piercing through the darkness, not from any lamp, but from within yourself. A whisper so gentle yet unmistakable says, "He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun." Psalm 37:6. That voice does not reach your ears. It flows straight into your soul. It is a calling that not everyone can hear. Perhaps you have often felt different, more sensitive, more profound, sometimes too easily wounded by things that others would never notice. While the world chases wealth and fame, you quietly search for meaning. When others speak of success, you long for peace. When others see the surface, you feel the unseen currents beneath. That is not weakness. It is a sign that you are one of the ancient souls sent here to bring light to a world that has forgotten its own. You did not come to blend in. You came to awaken. But before light can illuminate the world, it must first rise from within your own darkness. And that is why you feel lost, because your soul is remembering its mission. One day, you will realize that every pain, every crack, every rejection was never random. They are persecution imprints, the energetic scars left from past lives, when your soul once lived in light and was punished for it. Your story did not begin here. It began in times when light was seen as a threat, and that memory is still etched in your energy, making you hesitate every time you try to shine. But the universe remembers. It knows your time to awaken has come. In moments of stillness, when you close your eyes, you may feel a faint vibration, a subtle, warm, and pure current flowing along your spine. That is the first seal, 111, the number of beginnings. It appears like a code from the higher realms, a confirmation that you are ready to open the door. When 111 shows up before you, on a clock, a receipt, a license plate, or even in your thoughts, it is not random. It is a reminder that a new chapter is being written, and you are the one holding the pen. Pay attention. Since your soul began to vibrate with this light, the world around you has started to shift. Everything feels sharper, clearer, more alive. You sense the pain of others, as if it were your own. You can see what hides behind their smiles. You dream dreams that carry meaning beyond logic. Sometimes visions, sometimes messages, sometimes memories of a soul that has lived before. And at times, you feel as if something or someone is holding you back. An invisible force that makes you hesitate, that makes you forget your strength. You call it depression, exhaustion, but it is really the conflict between your true self and the false shell the world has placed upon you. Maybe you have asked yourself, why do I always feel like I'm swimming against the current of society? Because you truly are. The path of a lightworker, a bearer of light, always runs opposite to the ways of the world. Society teaches competition. You seek healing. The world teaches possession. You learn to let go. They say to be strong. You understand that only through softness can one be truly strong. There will be moments when you feel like you are walking alone, against the wind, lost and unseen. But in the silence, something sacred is rising within you. The memory that you once promised the source you would return, bringing love to a place swallowed by darkness. Lately, you may have noticed strange signs, sudden changes in your heartbeat, waves of energy growing stronger then fading, a restless urge to find something you cannot yet name. None of this is random. The universe is tuning your frequency so that you may hear more clearly, see more deeply, and remember your true purpose. Every chosen soul passes through this chaos, where the old must fall so that new light may be born. Let it happen. Trust that you are being guided, even when the path ahead is hidden in mist. The Lord my God lights up my darkness. Psalm 18:28. When these words echo within you, let them become a promise carved into your heart. Darkness is never the enemy. It is only the silence where light learns to recognize itself. From here, your journey begins, a journey of remembering, of healing, and awakening. Challenges will come, but every wound is a doorway. Every time you fall, the light within you grows deeper, calmer, and truer. For you did not come here to learn perfection. You came to remember that you already are the light. And as you breathe deeply, feeling the energy in your heart expand through your body, know that everything has been prepared. You are not lost. You are simply returning home. From this moment on, let every sound, every feeling, every breath become part of your awakening ritual. Trust that what you feel, the loneliness, the signs, the numbers, are all the language of the soul. The universe does not speak in words, but in symbols. And you, the one who listens, are chosen to understand that language. Between darkness and light lies only a thin boundary, the willingness to open your eyes. When you are ready, the light will pour in. Not loudly, not dramatically, but softly, like dawn unfolding over the ocean of your soul. And you will know, without anyone having to tell you, that your time has come. Not every storm comes to destroy. Some storms arrive to remind you that you were born from light. When your soul begins to vibrate more strongly with the energy of awakening, the first thing you feel is not peace, but turbulence. Inside you, two forces are colliding: the sacred calling that wants to rise, and the voice of the ego that wants to pull you back to the ground. It is a battle no one sees, but you can feel every beat of it. Some mornings, you wake up with a soft light in your heart, filled with faith that you are on the right path. But only a few hours later, the mind begins to whisper, "Who are you to think you are good enough to carry this light? Who are you to believe you can change the world?" Those voices are not your enemies. They are fragments of memory from ancient lives when your soul was condemned simply for believing in the sacred. Every time you are about to expand your energy, those memories rise again, like an old defense mechanism. They make you doubt yourself, your intuition, your dreams, even your kindness. But if you look deeply, you will see that doubt itself is the doorway back to your origin. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34-18. Every time you fall into self-doubt, He does not stand far away to watch. He sits beside you in silence, waiting for you to stop resisting so He can reach out. And it is in that moment, when you admit your weakness, that the light begins to flow in. Some people spend their whole lives seeking strength by hiding their wounds. But your soul was designed differently. Each wound is a gateway, and when you dare to look directly at it, the gate opens. On the other side is the purest part of you, the part that still remembers it was born from love, not fear. You may have felt lonely in this process. No one seems to understand why you cry at certain songs, why you gaze at the sky for hours, or why you feel the pain of others as your own. The world calls it too sensitive, but that sensitivity is a gift. It allows you to touch the deeper layers of existence where all souls are connected by invisible light. There will be a time when your mind feels like a battlefield. Every negative thought is an arrow, every fear a knife. But do not fear the chaos. It is purification. As light moves through the shadows, it reveals what has yet to be healed. You are not failing. You are being cleansed. When your mind gets lost in the maze of doubt, remember this: you do not have to believe in yourself right away. Just believe that the light is still there. Faith is not always a loud declaration. Sometimes it is simply a steady breath through the long night. Ilara, your soul in the story of the cosmos, once knelt in the dark and asked, "Why do I keep feeling that I am not enough?" And in the silence, a gentle voice replied, "Because you are still seeing yourself through the eyes of the world, instead of through my light." From that moment, she learned to say to herself each morning, "I was created from light, and that light cannot be extinguished." Every word of affirmation is a seed planted in the soil of your mind. You may see nothing at first, but with patience, each seed will sprout. You will begin to feel your energy change. No longer shrinking but expanding, no longer running but embracing. Meditation becomes your refuge. In the stillness, you no longer try to control, you simply observe. Thoughts pass like clouds, emotions come and go like waves. And then, in a rare moment, There are no more voices, only vast peace. It is not that you are doing well, it is that you are coming home to yourself. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Psalm 37:7. This verse beats like the heart of the universe. In stillness, nothing is absent, for it is there that the deepest transformation unfolds. But the journey is not all light. There will be days when you wake and feel nothing. Your prayers seem to fall into emptiness. Meditation no longer works. Faith runs dry. Do not despair, for this is when your soul is being tested. When light is no longer easy to see, you are invited to look through the eyes of trust, not feeling. You are being guided to learn the most important truth. That light does not come from outside. It is the current within you, waiting to be seen. Just as a candle cannot shine without darkness around it, you cannot recognize true light without first walking through the night. And then one morning, when you open your eyes, no miracle happens, yet something feels different. A small, gentle warmth spreads through your heart. That is the moment light is reborn from the ashes of doubt. And once again, the number 111 appears on your phone screen, on a receipt, or just in your thoughts. You do not need to explain it. You simply know it means something. 111, the mark of a new beginning. The confirmation that your soul has crossed its first threshold of awakening. Each time you see it, smile. It is the universe reminding you that you are on the right path. Even if your steps still tremble, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. This is the essence of your journey. Every time you stumble into doubt, remember, darkness cannot swallow light. It only makes it shine brighter. So do not try to run from the inner storm. Walk through it. Let every drop of rain wash away the layers of fear that have covered you for so long. Let the thunder awaken in you the memory of your true strength. Strength not found in the absence of fear, but in walking forward while trembling. One day, you will realize that every doubt that ever came was only there to teach you how to trust. And when that trust takes root, you will no longer need proof to know you are being guided. You will simply know when the night falls. Take a deep breath, place your hand on your heart, and whisper, "I am my own light." Let that vow dissolve into the air like a promise sent to the universe. For the moment you believe in that light, all of creation will respond. And in the stillness, if you listen long enough, you will hear a soft whisper, not from somewhere far away, but from deep within your heart. You are not lost. You are coming home. There are days when the energy within you moves like the tide, rising in radiant waves, then falling into stillness. In the morning, you wake up overflowing with vitality, as if the universe is flowing through every vein. But by afternoon, your body feels heavy, your mind becomes dull, and the light in your heart flickers out like a candle in the wind. You start to wonder if something is wrong within you, or if your soul is sending signals you have not yet learned to hear. That fluctuation is not ordinary fatigue. It is the rhythm of your soul, the way divine energy expands and contracts to align your frequency with the flow of the cosmos. When your energy rises, you are connecting with a deeper source of light. When it falls, the universe is inviting you to rest, recover, and rebalance. Remember, even the ocean needs tides, and light also needs darkness to know itself. Many do not realize that these energetic shifts are the language of awakening. When your soul is vibrating at a higher level, you are unconsciously absorbing energy from your surroundings, from people, from the souls around you who are seeking healing. You carry within you the essence of a healer, a lightworker, so you do not live only for yourself. Your energy is a bridge between realms, a channel through which light transforms with every breath you take. But if you do not know how to protect and regenerate your energy, that light can drain you. When your body feels weary and your mind is foggy, it is not failure. It is a reminder to return to the earth, walk barefoot on the ground, feel the cool touch of the grass, and let the excess energy flow down, like lightning returning to the soil. Place your hand on a tree, breathe deeply, and feel the heartbeat of the universe pulsing through its quiet veins. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Every time your energy feels unsettled, remember this. In stillness, you are not losing connection, you are regaining balance. When your soul breathes in harmony with the earth, you will notice something beautiful. Even as the waves of energy rise and fall, your heart can stay centered. Like a lamp that never goes out in the storm, One evening, you look up at the sky, where the Milky Way flows like a river of silver. Something deep inside you stirs. You understand that each star once trembled too, once burned brightly, then dissolved. And you, though just a small point of light, belong to that same rhythm. Your fatigue, your energetic tides, are simply signs that you are moving in sync with the universe. You are not out of rhythm. You are learning to flow with it. When you begin to listen to your body, to observe your energy, and to accept its rise and fall, something new unfolds. You start to understand the language of the soul. When energy rises, it is a call to act, to create, to share. When it lowers, it is a time to retreat into stillness, to recharge from the source. Every living being moves in this cycle. Only humans forget that they too are part of nature. Along this journey, you may sometimes feel lonely. Some will say you are too moody, too weak, too sensitive. But they do not see that your fluctuation is what makes you alive. Let your heart open wide enough to hold both your brilliance and your shadows. Both belong to you. One morning, you will realize that you do not always need to fight your energetic waves. Instead, you can flow with them. When energy rises, shine. When it falls, rest. That is how you live in harmony with the rhythm of the cosmos. The harmony every soul is seeking. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Psalm 23:2. This verse is a message from above, reminding you that rest is also part of service. Stillness is not laziness. It is an act of faith, the trust that even when you pause, the light continues to move through you. Look back on your life. Perhaps you have tried to prove your strength by pushing yourself too far, working without rest, chasing ideals until you burned out. But the true strength of a light bearer is not in endurance. It is in knowing your limits. A flame can only burn forever when it knows how to adjust its own fire. So care for this body as a sacred temple. Eat what makes you feel light. Drink water as if you are drinking light. Meditate as if you are returning to the womb of creation. Sleep not to escape, but to meet yourself again. Every small action can become a ritual if you do it with presence. You will begin to notice that your energy changes not only with emotion, but with how you treat yourself. When you love yourself as deeply as you love the world, your energy becomes steady, and your soul begins to shine naturally. Then the universe will mirror that change. You will begin to attract kindred souls, people who are also on the path of healing. They will recognize you not by your words, but by your energy, by the gentle light in your eyes. And when you share your story, they will feel comforted, as if you have spoken the words they never dared to say. So, if your heart is stirring as you hear this, let it be a sign to act. Share your light. A comment, a like, or simply telling someone how you feel are all acts of light. When you share your energy, you lose nothing. You open wider the channel of your soul. Light always spreads through resonance. Every time you speak from the heart, another soul somewhere will awaken. And that is how the universe spreads love. Not through miracles, but through people brave enough to share their truth. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. These words are not only for saints, they are for you. You do not need to wait until you are perfect to shine. You only need to be yourself, honest, sincere, and present. So let the light within you speak. If today you are exhausted, rest. If tomorrow you feel radiant, shine. Both are ways your soul serves the world. And every time you choose to live authentically, you help the world remember its divine nature. When you lift your gaze to the night sky, know that at this very moment, thousands of souls like yours are looking up too. You are not alone. You are among those who carry the light. Those who, like you, are learning to hear the heartbeat of the universe within themselves. And as you exhale deeply, the light within you merges with theirs, forming a new constellation, the constellation of awakened souls. There is a stage that almost every light-bearing soul must pass through, the stage where the material world begins to push back, not with violence, but with lack. With invisible walls called financial barriers, everything that once flowed smoothly begins to slow, then stops. Money stops moving, opportunities fade. Every door that you thought opened through faith and light suddenly closes all at once. You start to question, if I'm truly on the right path, Why has life become so difficult? This is the moment your soul faces one of its deepest imprints, the memory that to serve the light, one must sacrifice abundance. Somewhere in your soul's history, perhaps you were once a monk, a healer, or a prophet who lost everything for what you believed in. That memory still lives within you, carrying a hidden fear that allowing abundance into your life might somehow taint your light. The modern world may no longer burn those who speak of love, but it still tests them in other ways, through scarcity, through fear of survival, through the illusion that you must choose between spirit and matter. But that is not truth. The universe never separates light from abundance. Only humans do that. One night, as you sit in meditation in the quiet dark, caught between confusion and fear, a verse echoes through your mind. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. That verse does not say you must give up to be blessed. It says to find joy in divine presence. And from that joy, everything you desire will flow naturally. When you begin to realize that the energy of money is also the energy of the universe, moving, circulating, reflecting love, everything starts to change. Money is no longer something worldly to avoid, but the breath of the physical world. And like breath, it must be inhaled to be exhaled. You cannot serve the light if you refuse to receive the energy that sustains you. Spiritual circles sometimes make people believe that purity means poverty. But poverty is never a measure of holiness. True light does not fear the material, because it knows the material is simply another form of divine energy. Think of the water flowing through the mountains. The pure spring receives, then gives, then receives again. When you give without knowing how to receive, that flow becomes blocked. And this is how financial blocks are formed. Think of all the times you refused help because you felt unworthy. The times you did everything alone because you feared others would think you needed them. The times you hesitated to set value for your healing work, afraid you would be judged for it. But you forgot that even light has value not to be sold, but to be honored. One day, when you finally accept that abundance is part of your divine path, the universe responds immediately. Small opportunities begin to appear, not loud, not flashy. A friend offers what you need, an old debt is repaid, or an idea suddenly arises that gives you direction. These are not coincidences. They are the universe's way of testing whether you are ready to receive the energy of fullness. He will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing so great there will not be room enough to receive it. Malachi 3:10. Each time you worry about money, read this verse again. Not to beg, but to remember that your supply does not come from a bank, but from heaven itself. As your beliefs shift, the material energy around you shifts too. You begin to see your worth not in a paycheck, but in your very existence. When you give light, you deserve to receive an equal flow of energy in return. One morning, as you write in your journal, you notice a repeating number on your phone screen. 333. 3 numbers ringing like bells in the air. This is not a coincidence. It is the seal of divine guidance, a sign that higher beings are beside you, protecting you, teaching you to trust the flow. 333 is also the symbol of collaboration, body, mind, and spirit, learning to work as one. Remember, true abundance does not come from earning more, but from opening your heart to receive more. When you stop resisting, the flow begins again, and you realize that abundance is not only in money, but in emotions, relationships, and every peaceful moment you experience. One evening, as the sunset pours golden light through your window, you see tiny dust particles dancing in the air, glowing like sparks of gold. In that instant, you understand abundance is not something to chase. It has always been here, waiting for you to open your eyes and see it. You place your hand on your heart and whisper, "I allow myself to receive." In that moment, something shifts in the air. No more heaviness, no more fear of not enough, only a gentle, warm current, as if the door of your soul has opened. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. When you believe this, not with your words but with your energy, the world around you begins to reflect that faith. From this moment, you understand that the journey of light is not separate from the material world. Light needs the body to act. It needs resources to spread. It needs abundance to nourish. There is nothing wrong with wanting a good life. The only mistake is forgetting that life flows from love. And as you begin to live in gratitude and abundance, those around you will feel inspired. They will see in you not just a healer, but living proof that light and fullness can exist together. If your heart is vibrating as you hear this, let 333 be your reminder. Whisper it, write it, or simply hold it in your heart as a confirmation that you are ready to step into the abundant flow of the universe. Abundance is not for the chosen few. It is for every soul brave enough to believe they are worthy to receive. You have unlocked a sacred door, and beyond it, the light is waiting. When the light within you begins to expand, the darkness around you also begins to move. It is no longer about material obstacles or shifting energy, but about wounds that come from people, from doubtful eyes, from cold remarks, from misunderstandings that need no explanation. The more you walk in light, the more you feel yourself separated from the crowd. And in that moment, you begin to learn the lesson of the light bearer's solitude. You may have felt it before. You speak with kindness, yet are seen as naive, weak, or unrealistic. You try to bring peace, but others think you are trying to control. Every time you open your heart, the world seems to close. Every time you share your light, the darkness responds with silence. On nights like that, you ask yourself, am I wrong? Was this light really meant for this world? But then, a gentle voice rises in your heart, warm and familiar. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The words do not come as comfort, but as confirmation that you are on the right path. Every healer must walk through the land of misunderstanding, for you are bringing a new frequency, one that the old world does not yet know how to receive. When you speak of love, they hear something strange. When you choose silence, they think you are distant. When you forgive, they think you are weak. But know this, every misunderstanding is not punishment, but purification, a test that makes your light more transparent. In each conflict, you are not just facing another person, you are facing the part of yourself that still fears rejection. Every judgment from the outside is only an echo of an inner fear, the fear of not being accepted, of being left behind, of losing everything familiar if you live as your true self. But you forget that to become light, the candle must be willing to leave the dark room. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. When these words are spoken, you might feel a soft stirring in your chest, as if your heart has just been touched. Whether the world understands you or not, you are surrounded by an unseen strength. Once, Elara, your soul in this story, also tried to hide from her own light. She tried to blend in, to live like others, to silence her intuition, to stop her heart from feeling deeply. But the more she tried, the more suffocated she became. Because light cannot stay hidden forever. It will always find a way to break through, even if it must burn through the shell that confines it. One day, when her friends turned away because she was too different, Elara sat alone under an ancient tree, where leaves fell slowly, as if time itself had stopped. She closed her eyes, let the wind touch her face, and a tear rolled down, without knowing why. In that silence, she heard a voice carried by the wind, distant yet clear. You were not sent to be understood, but to illuminate. From that moment, she stopped trying to prove herself. She chose to live authentically, no longer needing to convince anyone, no longer seeking praise, only to be true to the light she was given. And strangely, when she stopped seeking acceptance, the world began to change. Those who once rejected her came for guidance. Those who once mocked her began to listen. Not because they changed first, but because her energy had. You will reach that stage too. The stage where you realize you do not need to protect the light. You only need to become it. All resistance, misunderstanding, and judgment are just passing storms, unable to extinguish a fire that is fueled by love. Learn to set your boundaries with compassion. You have the right to say no, to walk away when energy no longer aligns. Forgiveness does not mean endurance. When you stand firm in your light, you teach the world how to love without losing yourself. One evening, as you write your story, every rejection, misunderstanding, and betrayal, you begin to see that none of it was meaningless. Each person who hurt you carved into your soul a lesson in compassion. Without them, you would not know what true love means. For you, God, tested us. You refined us like silver. Psalm 66:10. That verse holds the answer to every wound. What you are going through is not punishment, but refinement. When gold is placed in fire, it does not disappear. It becomes pure, and then you will come to a quiet truth. No one is truly against you. They only reflect the parts of you that still need healing. When you forgive, you do not set them free. You set yourself free. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is releasing the past from controlling the energy of your present. One day, you will smile in the face of criticism, not because you have grown numb, but because you understand that darkness cannot touch a soul that knows its own light. If right now you feel lonely, misunderstood, or lost, remember this: it is a sign of expansion. You are rising to a higher frequency, one not everyone can follow. Do not turn back seeking approval. Keep walking to find the souls who vibrate as you do. They are waiting for you beyond the loneliness. When you begin seeing repeating numbers, perhaps 333 or 777, take them as a sign. You are protected. These challenges do not come to defeat you, but to carve the energy of resilience into your soul. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Remember this verse, for it is your essence. The world does not need you to be perfect. The world needs you to be real. Because only when light dares to shine through its cracks does it truly come alive. And if today you find yourself lost in loneliness, know that this is not the end. It is the prelude to revelation. Light is always tested by fire before it shines. And you, the chosen one, are standing in that fire not to be burned, but to rise in brilliance. Then one day, when everything seems to have settled into peace again, you notice something strange. The connection with your inner light feels dimmed. Your meditations are no longer as deep. The prayers that once felt sacred now echo into emptiness. The presence of God, once as close as your own breath, now feels distant, silent, almost frightening in its stillness. You begin to wonder, have I lost the light? But no, this is only the silence of the universe, a phase every light bearer must go through. Because before a soul can enter a higher level of awareness, it must first learn the lesson of emptiness. Like the moon, to become full again, it must accept its nights of disappearance. No light shines endlessly. The universe breathes too. It inhales and exhales, expands and contracts. And you, a soul awakening to the divine, are part of that rhythm. When the light within you quiets, it is not a sign of loss, but a sacred moment of restructuring. Your energy body is expanding. Your frequencies are being recalibrated. And for this to happen, the universe requires absolute silence. But for humans, silence is often more frightening than darkness. You are used to feeling God's presence through signs, intuition, dreams. So when all of that fades, panic begins to rise. You pray harder, meditate longer, try every method to bring the light back. But the harder you try, the deeper the silence grows. One night, weary from the search, you sit quietly in your room. No candles, no music, no rituals, only your breath and the emptiness. And in that stillness, a thought gently surfaces. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. The words do not come from outside, but from deep within your heart. And as you allow the silence to spread, you realize something profound. God never left. It was you who became too busy to hear him in the quiet. Silence is not the absence of God. Silence is God. It is in silence that he teaches you to perceive with your soul, not your emotions. When you understand this, you begin to release. You release the expectation that meditation must work. You release the belief that connection must always be felt. You sit simply to be present. Every breath becomes a prayer, every tear a word of gratitude. You stop searching for God and instead allow him to find you. Another day, you decide to walk outside without purpose, just to walk. Along a damp path, you hear the rustle of leaves, the distant song of birds, the whisper of wind through your hair. And within those sounds, you realize this is the prayer you've been looking for. Nothing is more sacred than this simple moment, you and the universe breathing as one. He restores my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Psalm 23:3. that verse becomes truth in every step you take. Restoration does not come through effort, but through surrender. From that day, you begin to open to new forms of connection. Sometimes you feel drawn to read a book of philosophy outside your faith. Some days, you find peace in a melody you cannot name, or in the chant of a distant religion. You realize that divine light takes many forms like sunlight, refracting through countless drops of water. You no longer cling to the old ways. You allow light to teach you about itself free, vast, and boundless, beyond rituals and names. And in that moment, you realize your soul is maturing. You no longer fear when God is silent, because you understand, silence itself is His voice. There are still nights when you feel empty, but emptiness no longer frightens you. It becomes a sacred space where you can sit with yourself without needing to do anything. In that stillness, you begin to hear the subtler sounds, the vibration of your heart, the breath of the wind, the quiet hum of life you once overlooked. When the light returns, you no longer rejoice as before. You simply smile, because now you know it never left. Light is not something you can lose, it is what you are. One morning, during meditation, you see a soft white light filling the room. Not blinding, not dazzling, just pure peace. You understand the universe is sending you a message. You have passed through the trial of silence. You turned my mourning into dancing. Psalm 30:11. Those words are no longer lines in a book. They are the living experience of your soul. Every loss, every silent night, every tear has become a step in the dance of awakening. From that moment, you no longer fear the dark. You understand that without darkness, light would never know itself. Without emptiness, you would never learn the art of presence. One evening, as you watch the sunset, the sky turns gold, then fades. The sun disappears, yet its light remains on the clouds. You smile, because now you understand. When the sun hides, light does not vanish, it simply changes form. And so does your soul. When connection fades, when inspiration quiets, when silence surrounds you, it is not the end, it is a comma in the symphony of the cosmos. If you are in this phase now, remember, you are not abandoned. You are being invited to listen with your heart instead of your ears. Trust the stillness, for in stillness, the greatest creations are born. And as you exhale softly, like a prayer, you feel a warm current flow through you, not a blazing flame, but a quiet, steady light that cannot be extinguished. It is not loud, it proves nothing, yet it is proof enough that you and God were never apart. And from here, you step into a new chapter, the journey of intuition and prophetic dreams, where light is not only seen, but known by the soul. In the nights that follow, sleep no longer feels like rest for your body, but a doorway into another world, a world beyond space and time, where dreams begin to take the shape of messages. Everything within them carries meaning, numbers, symbols, faces that feel both strange and deeply familiar. At first, you think it's coincidence, a creation of imagination. But as time passes, you notice the dreams connect, like pieces of an unseen mosaic. Each morning, you wake with a quiet urge to write, afraid the images will fade if you don't. So you begin sometimes a few short lines, sometimes whole pages filled with symbols and emotion. Then one night, you dream of standing in an endless desert. White sand stretches to the horizon, and there, the sky itself opens, glowing with silver light that does not come from the moon but from heaven unfolding. In that light, a voice speaks deep, slow, and vast, as if coming from everywhere at once. You are chosen. You wake with your heart racing and your hands cold. Nothing in the room has changed, but something inside you has. You know that dream was no accident. It was a calling, a mark, a confirmation that your journey has entered a deeper phase. From then on, your dreams become silent teachers. They not only reveal what is coming, but help you understand what has been. Some nights, you speak with loved ones who have passed. Some nights you walk through a strange garden where each flower opens in the shape of a star. Other times you see only numbers 777, then 777 burning like fire. The number 777, you begin to see it everywhere, on billboards, receipts, digital clocks. At first you think it's coincidence, but soon you understand the universe is speaking its own language. 777, the number of soul awakening, the seventh plane of consciousness where human will merges with divine will. When this number appears, it means the soul is entering the stage of revelation, where divine wisdom begins to flow directly through dreams, intuition, and deep inner knowing. And within those dreams, you start to remember things long forgotten, old promises, soul contracts, fragments of lives once lived. They don't return as clear stories, but as feelings and knowing that you have been here before, known these souls, fulfilled this mission. When God gives a dream, He also gives the understanding of it. Genesis 41-15. The verse echoes in your mind as you open your journal each morning. You no longer see dreams as illusions, but as lessons wrapped in symbols. A bird soaring across the sky might be a reminder of freedom. A door slightly open might speak of choice. A deep ocean might mirror emotions yet to be understood. You stop overanalyzing and begin listening with your soul. Every image carries its own vibration. You learn to ask gently, "What is this dream trying to tell me?" And you let the answer come in its own way. In the days that follow, something begins to change. Your intuition sharpens. You sense what is coming. You can feel the unspoken emotions of others. You hear whispers in the wind, in the light, in your heartbeat. The line between waking and dreaming grows thin, because the soul never sleeps. It simply leaves the body to seek what it still needs to learn. One early morning, before the sun rises, you sit by the window watching the mist dissolve. You recall the dream from the night before you were walking on water, each step as light as air. You look down and see your reflection, but the eyes staring back are not yours. They are deeper, kinder, filled with light. And then you understand, this is your higher self, the fully awakened aspect of your soul. A shiver runs through you, not of fear, but recognition. You realize you were never alone. There is a part of you, calm and wise, that has always been watching, guiding, loving through your dreams. That part of you is leading, reminding, healing. He speaks in dreams, in visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on people. Job 33-15. Every time you dream, God is speaking in images, a language the mind cannot manipulate. He does not speak to logic, but to the soul, for only the soul can understand. Gradually, you realize dreaming is not random, but an essential part of awakening. Each night becomes a sacred meeting between you and the divine. And each morning, when you open your eyes, you are not the same. Something deeper, quieter, wiser stirs within. You learn to give thanks for every dream, both the beautiful and the unsettling, because you know none of them are meaningless. Every dream is a letter from God. And when you read them with your heart, all your questions are answered not with words, but with knowing. One morning, as you close your journal, the number 777 glows on your clock. You smile, no longer surprised. You know it is confirmation. Your soul is opening, the gates are parting, and you are stepping into a profound illumination. If in the days ahead, you also see these numbers 777, or any that stir your heart, take them as a sign meant just for you. Speak them, write them, or simply whisper them in your mind as affirmation that you have heard your soul's call. Because now you are no longer just a seeker. You are becoming a channel, a bridge, through which light and messages from the higher realms flow into this world. Every dream, every intuition, every breath you take carries the echo of heaven. And when you close your eyes tonight, remember you are not just falling asleep. You are entering communion, meeting kindred souls, guided by the invisible hand of love. Beyond the dream, the light is waiting. After the long nights of dreams and sacred signs, your soul begins to open into deeper layers of awareness. Yet at the same time, something else begins to stir a darkness, not from the world around you, but from within. Fear, vague, formless, without a clear cause, yet present like a heavy mist covering your mind. At first, it is only a subtle unease, an unnamed tension, a whisper that something is wrong. Then it grows, spreading through your body. Some nights, you wake in the middle of sleep, your heart pounding for no reason. Some days, everything feels too much: the light, the sound, even the act of breathing. And you ask yourself, how can I be so afraid when I am living in light? This is the paradox every bearer of light must face. The closer you come to the source, the more the inner shadows reveal themselves. When the soul is illuminated, Every fear once hidden in the unconscious rises to be seen, not to torment you, but to be set free. These fears are not entirely yours. They are the memories of humanity, the echoes of centuries when light was condemned, the trembling voices of souls once punished for speaking truth. You carry the energy of many lifetimes, so these fears are not of one person, but of the collective. When you heal them, you are healing countless others through you. Some nights, fear comes like a shadow filling the room. You may feel your heart tighten, your body grow cold, as if something unseen is watching. But do not run. Take a deep breath. Call it by name. I see you. Darkness only needs to be seen to dissolve, because once recognized, it loses power. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. When you repeat this, close your eyes and feel its truth in every cell. Fear cannot touch a soul held within the presence of God. From this moment, you begin to learn the art of facing instead of fleeing. Each time anxiety rises, you place your hand over your heart, breathe deeply, and ask, what is this fear trying to tell me? Sometimes it simply wants love. Sometimes it is a forgotten child within you, trembling and longing to be held. When you open your arms to it, you become the very light you seek. You may seek support from kindred souls, those who understand energy, healing, or the inner path, because sometimes light needs human hands to guide it. In conversations, in therapy, in meditation, you begin to see the root of fear, the illusion of separation, the mistaken belief that you have been abandoned, that God is no longer near. And when you see this clearly, you weep, not from pain, but from remembrance. He never left. For you have delivered my soul from death and my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before God in the light of life. Psalm 56:13. Each time you repeat this, a small flame begins to rise in your chest. Not the fire of struggle, but the fire of faith. You begin to practice breath work. Each breath becomes a bridge between shadow and light. Inhale to receive whatever feeling exists. Exhale to offer it back to the earth. And after doing this for a while, you realize that fear never needed to be destroyed, only loved. Some mornings you wake feeling lighter, not because fear is gone, but because it no longer controls you. You look at it and smile, like greeting an old companion who helped you grow. You understand that no light is truly pure until it has faced the dark. As you step outside, the world looks different. The light seems brighter, the sky deeper. The birds sound like gratitude. You realize that after every breaking, your soul expands to hold more light. One afternoon during meditation, you see a vision, a pair of great white wings opening behind you. There is no fear left, only peace. You understand that you have passed through the trial of fear, not by force, but through love. When you open your eyes, the golden light of sunset falls upon your face, soaking into every cell. Inside, everything feels still, whole, complete. There is no longer a divide between the frightened one and the redeemed one, only a soul remembering its origin. You will keep in perfect peace those whose hearts are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. These words are no longer a promise, they are reality. If you are hearing this and feel a gentle warmth spreading in your heart, know that it is a sign. Your soul is healing. Fear no longer needs to be fought. It has fulfilled its purpose. Take a deep breath and whisper, I trust and I release. For when you release, the light finds its way back to you. And in that moment, your journey moves closer to its most sacred stage, where the soul is no longer divided between darkness and light, but becomes light itself. And when you smile softly at dawn, you will understand. Every worry, every fear, every dream has been a step on the ladder, leading your soul closer to eternal truth. That you were never weak, never lost. You have only been learning to remember the light you already are. One morning will come when you open your eyes and realize there is nothing left to resist. No more fear, no more struggle, no more asking, why is this happening to me? Only a stillness so deep and clear, it feels like a lake reflecting the sky after the rain. You no longer seek the light because you have become the light itself. Everything that once caused pain now feels weightless. as if it belongs to someone else from long ago. The misunderstandings, the wounds, the lonely nights have turned into shining pearls on the thread of your soul's journey. You begin to see the whole picture that you once saw only in fragments. And in that clarity, you understand that everything that happened had its reason. Light does not come to erase darkness. It comes to illuminate it, to embrace it until the two become one. Within you, good and evil, fear and love, weakness and strength are no longer opposites, but two halves of the same whole. When you accept them both, you become complete. You turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Psalm 30-11. Each time you repeat this verse, you feel a joy that no longer depends on circumstance, but rises from within. Joy no longer comes from having, but from being. You look around and the world seems unchanged. People are still busy, cities still noisy, stories still chaotic, yet something is different. You are no longer caught in it. You stand in the middle of life without belonging to it, yet you love it more than ever. You see light in every soul, even the most lost. You no longer wish to prove anything, only to be, to love, and to shine through your very presence. And then the universe responds. Kindred souls begin to appear, not because you seek them, but because your light calls them. There are no promises, no conditions. You simply recognize each other. They are your soul family, the ones who look into your eyes and say, I know you. You feel the energy between you flow like an underground river. Every meeting becomes a ritual, every conversation an exchange of light. You understand that awakening is never a solitary path. Each soul that opens its eyes ignites the light in another. Humanity, through each of you, is awakening together. One afternoon, under the golden sky, the number 777 appears again on the clock, or perhaps just in your mind. You smile. You already know its meaning. Divine completion. 777 is the mark of a soul that has completed a great cycle from doubt to knowing, from pain to healing, from seeking to merging. It is the blessing of the higher realms, a sign that you have finished an important part of your journey and are ready to step into your sacred purpose, the calling of the light bearer. From this moment, you no longer search for yourself. You live as yourself. Every small act becomes an act of service. A smile, a kind word, a gentle touch. Each one can be a miracle for someone. You realize that service needs no stage, no audience. It is how you walk, the energy you carry. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. These words now echo not as a command, but as confirmation. You no longer need to try to shine, you simply are light. With that understanding comes a sacred joy, the joy of absolute freedom. No more fear of the future, no more weight of the past. You live in the present like a flowing river. Every second is a miracle. Every breath is a prayer. Every person you meet is a teacher in disguise. You see that the soul is not seeking perfection, it is seeking unity. And when you stop dividing yourself into good and bad, worthy and unworthy, spiritual and ordinary, you realize all of it is holy. All of it is God exploring himself through countless forms. As the sunset spreads across the sky, you feel the breeze brush your skin, soft as the touch of grace. Every sound, every color, pulses with life. And you, who once walked through doubt, pain, silence, and fear, now sit in peace, smiling. You no longer need to know where the path will lead, for you have learned the secret. Faith is not knowing the outcome, but trusting that whatever happens is love. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. You whisper the verse and realize your heart has come home. If you are hearing this and feel a deep resonance in your heart, that is your light responding. Perhaps you are seeing 111, 333, or 777 around you. Take it as an invitation. Share the number that stirs your soul so the energy may grow. For when you acknowledge the light within you, you allow it to spread to every soul who listens. This journey never ends. It only changes form. Every ending is a new dawn. And at the end of the path, you will understand that everything you ever sought, God, light, love, peace, was never anywhere but within you. And when the sun finally sinks below the horizon, you stand still, take a deep breath and whisper, I have come home. No one truly knows the exact moment when the light within you becomes eternal. It doesn't arrive with thunder or grand revelation, but gently, like dawn slipping through a crack in the door. One quiet morning, you awaken and realize your heart no longer carries wounds. Your mind no longer searches. Everything you once prayed for, longed for, struggled to understand, has fallen silent, like the hush that follows a passing storm. You look outside. Golden light rests softly on the trees. Nothing is extraordinary, yet everything is sacred. A drop of dew falls, and you feel it as the universe greeting you. Everything breathes with you. Every sound moves in harmony. In that moment, you know that you and God are no longer two. The boundaries have dissolved. There is no longer I seek you. Only I and you are one. For with you is the fountain of life. In your light, we see light. Psalm 36-9. The verse seems carved into the air around you. It is no longer words. It is truth made breath. You do not need to understand it, only to feel it. For when your heart is clear enough, the light no longer needs to arrive, it simply appears. You step outside. The world is still busy, still noisy, yet you are no longer carried away by it. Instead of reacting, you remain present. You no longer try to radiate light, because you are light. Every glance, every word, every step carries the frequency of peace. Others may not understand it, but they feel it. Simply being near you calms their hearts. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 20, 3-2-3. Now you understand peace does not come from life becoming easier, but from no longer needing it to be your way. Every difficulty, every person, every challenge is a wave reflecting His light. And you once fearful, lost, uncertain, now know how to smile even at the storm. Looking back, you no longer see tragedy, only lessons. Every pain taught you trust. Every rejection taught you compassion. Every loss revealed what can never be taken. Now you see that the journey of a light bearer is never to avoid the dark, but to walk through it, to become proof that love is stronger than fear. You start to notice a new sign. The number 999 appears everywhere. On receipts, in dreams, on license plates, on clocks. At first, you smile, but soon a deep feeling washes over you. 999, the number of endings and rebirth. The universe's message that an old cycle is complete. Every lesson, every wound, every trial has served its purpose. Your soul is ready to enter the next spiral, not through pain, but through joy. Remember, 999 is not a full stop, but a doorway. The universe is whispering, you have finished this chapter. Now rise and shine. If this number resonates with you, write it down, say it softly, or simply smile. Each acknowledgement sends a signal to the higher realms. I am ready. You begin to live with clearer purpose, yet without burden. You no longer feel you must save the world, because you understand the world does not need saving it, only needs love. You no longer see people through their flaws, but through the light, waiting to awaken in them. And when you love purely, freely, without condition, you are performing the greatest act a soul can offer. You will keep in perfect peace those whose hearts are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. The verse feels like a blessing, the final gift of your journey. Peace is no longer a destination. It is your natural state. You no longer seek it, because you live within it. You understand now that every soul has its own path. Some still walk in darkness, some are stepping into light, and some have yet to begin. But all are returning home. And you who have walked through 7 layers of trials, faced fear, listened to dreams, and learned to trust, now become a torch. Not to lead others, but to remind them that their own light has never gone out. If you are hearing this, take a deep breath. Feel it travel through your heart, spreading like light through every cell. Whisper, I have come home. There is nowhere left to go, nothing left to prove, only to be. And know this journey is not yours alone. Each time you share your experience, each word spoken from the heart, each moment of peace you offer, you extend the current of light throughout humanity. Because light never shines for one. It shines through one for all. Let these closing words touch you. as a blessing from above. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you peace. Numbers 6, 24, 26. If your heart is resonating now, share that light with a prayer, a word, or even through silence. For every time you acknowledge the light within, the world grows brighter. And when night falls and you close your eyes, remember you are no longer the seeker. You are the light bearer. The journey has not ended. It has only begun in peace, in gratitude, in infinite love. Walk forward and let your light continue to shine. The world needs exactly that light. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.